Hey guys, Marstaken here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be taking a look at the Tech Fat Janemba and Physical LR Janemba together on the 200% leader skill from STR LR Cooler. They finally have a 200% lead, obviously ever since, LR Janemba came out, his best linking partner or best rotation buddy has basically been the Tech Fat Janemba. Now this is a unit, if you've been around the channel for a long time, you know I've talked a lot of smack about TEQ JANEMBA. I once called him on Twitter the worst Dokkan Fest released in 2021, and people did not like that, but my main issue comes down to, and still is to be fair, the orb requirements for his passive. Now, I do genuinely think now, I've used Janemba a lot, obviously since then, found good niches to use him on teams and stuff. I do now see that he is a good unit with his passive activated. And unfortunately, that is the biggest problem, right? Is the fact that as far as I'm concerned, with the design of his passive, especially when you compare him directly to PHY, I just think that 4 type orbs and 2 rainbow orbs is too much. Sometimes it's very difficult to get both, or even just one. And in certain circumstances, you're going to want one over the other and potentially not be able to get it. Like, for example, obviously Janemba does have guard, the Tech Fat Janemba, but say against Cell Max, for example, especially if you don't have a Scour, and so there's going to be a super attack coming on the turn, you definitely really want the damage reduction, which means picking up 2 rainbow orbs, but depending on how the key falls on the stage, getting 2 rainbow orbs might then make it impossible for you to either A, get the 4 type orbs to get his support passive, or B, it might make it so that you then can't actually even super at all. Because you might have like 2 rainbow orbs in the bottom corner with 1 coloured orb above it and nothing else around it, and then he's not going to get his buffs. So I'm going to float the cooler off for now. Actually, no, we've got a cooler on the other rotation, so I probably shouldn't do that. We got Metamorphosis, Big Bad Bosses, and Fierce Battle. Obviously, the Tech Janemba is Rainbow full level 10 links for me. The Physical LR Janemba is only at 69%. The only thing I've never done a video talking about it because honestly I don't have super strong opinions on it, but one of the things I don't like about the Carnival exclusive LR banner is obviously we were expecting it to be a normal yellow coin banner and expecting it to be in part 2, and I was going to use my yellow coins to buy a dupe for Physical LR Janemba, which obviously because there is no yellow coin LR banner out at the moment, I actually can't do that. So we have 222k defense at the start of the turn. We got the 2 rainbow orbs, so we have the damage reduction. And then, of course, he does raise defense on super as well. So I do think the best build for him, you could think about dodge, I guess, if you wanted. But additional is obviously really good for him because if he gets an additional super attack, then that's him raising his defense again. And then, obviously, he's going to look very good. Now, unfortunately, Tech Janemba was on turn 2. Physical Janemba was in slot 7. And I thought the red zone would be a good stage to show these guys out on because, the Shadow Dragons one is the second to last one. The difficulty level is still fairly high. And, of course, you can dodge all the way through the event. There are also, I've got the pages up here so I can double check, but there are 4 out of the 7 Shadow Dragons that do a Key Blast super attack. And this is one of them. So, obviously, of course, Garlic Jr. takes the super and then dodges the normal. That's what we like to see. So now, do we have our boys together yet? Next turn we do, yeah. So we get the heal from you and the support memory. I don't know what our HP was at the start of the turn, so I'm not going to take the risk, and I'm just going to put Cooler in slot 1. Unfortunately, that does mean our boy Turles is not going to get any stacks, and is getting floated off now. But the showcase is about the Janembas, so... Because Frieza's passive is weird. If he was technically below 40% at the start of the turn, even with the Turles heal and the support memory heal, none of that matters because it's calculated start of turn, so his passive wouldn't be active. And since I didn't really see, after we took that super on Garlic Jr., I didn't really see whether we were above or below 40%. I think we might have been below. So rather than risk it and put Frieza in slot 1, Cooler, despite not being a slot 1 unit, at least we have type advantage here, so we're obviously going to be okay. So, Oceanus does not have a Key Blast super attack. But we finally have these guys together. We've got a good orb change. Oh, we can actually get Janemba's full passive here. Now, you can see we got the active skill. I'll talk about this very briefly. I feel like this is probably the biggest fumble of this unit because we look at Janemba. He has guard, he has damage reduction, and he provides support when you're picking up type orbs. So there's a lot of ways you can fit this guy into various different teams. But then if we go and have a look at his transformation, where you can transform into Super Janemba starting from when you've received 5 attacks. So there's no turn restriction. So if you can take 5 attacks in turn 1, you could transform on the next rotation. The problem is, he changes random orbs to either Rainbow or TEQ, which is not very consistent. Then he gets an additional 40% attack with 3 or more type orbs and a high chance to dodge with 1 rainbow orb. So you can see the big problem here, especially compared to all the other Super Janembas in the game. He doesn't guard when you transform. And the worst part is, even though he does create orbs, they're not very consistent the way he does it. He needs a rainbow orb to even be able to dodge. So if you get really unlucky and there's no rainbow orbs, then he has no dodge, no guard, and no damage reduction. So, almost in every circumstance, it's better to just not transform him. Especially because he provides buffs and support to our boy LR Janemba. Now, obviously, he guards, but to build him up to his full potential, you need to attack with him in slot 2 or 3. And then he doesn't guard in slot 3. So what that basically means is you want him in slot 2 for the early phases. Now, obviously, in this run in particular, we have been a little bit unfortunate with the fact that he was in slot 7. We had to float him off to get him onto this rotation. So obviously, we're on turn 6, and he hasn't attacked in the final slot a single time. So obviously we need to get those buffs built up. Again, it comes back to the annoying 3 tries only for the red zone. When it loaded up and I saw he was in slot 7, my instant reaction kicked in to just quit and re-enter the stage. And then of course I remembered, oh wait, no, this is the red zone. I literally only get 3 attempts at doing this stage. So quitting out and then coming back in is not exactly not exactly an option. I mean, you can, but then you come back in the second time, one of them is in slot 7 again, and then it's like, well, what do you do? Do you gamble on that last attempt? Could pick a different stage, but I thought the Shadow Dragons one would be good, because like I say, there's it's got a reasonable level of difficulty. Multiple of the Shadow Dragons do Ki Blast super attacks, so I thought this would be a good stage to show them off, because of course, Janemba has that chance to completely nullify key-based super attacks. So very, very good unit. People were ragging on him pretty hard in the community, like on Twitter and Reddit and stuff when he first came out. Because I've noticed a lot of the time units get slander like this. It's because people don't like waiting for a unit to be good. So you have to attack with Janemba 3 times in slot 2 to achieve his full potential. And people don't like that because you see people complaining that he's bad because his turn 1 attack stat is not very good. And at the end of the day, obviously, units have roles, and LR Janemba's role is that he's a defensive unit. So, even in a very difficult event, even if you can't get the build-up, you can just put him in slot 1, and he's going to defend very well. Now, obviously, you want to get that build-up by having him attack in slot 2, because then his attack and his defense are going to be better overall. Because obviously, even though he does guard, if he doesn't negate a super, or if he's getting hit with a non-key based super attack, then he can still take a reasonable amount of damage. Just having guard without having a high defensive stat, by itself, is not, the most powerful mechanic. Of course, he's sealed Turlers. Now, this is an interesting scenario that we can get ourselves into here. So, Janemba, we don't have the ability to get the rainbow orbs to get the guard, or the 4 orbs to get the support. So unfortunately, this is the kind of turn where we will go ahead and not use... Actually, you know what we can do? This is a good thing you can do as well, I guess, to reset the orbs. So LR Janemba has the Rage mode. So you can activate his Rage mode when HP is 66% or more, starting from the 6th turn. And then obviously you just get the 1 turn of the Rage mode giant form, unstoppable attacks. I didn't realise that was on, but I guess it doesn't really matter too much. Now, the orbs are not great, but what we want to try and do is set up ready for the next turn. So, I don't know if I can get... There's no way to get those in orbs to connect to that rainbow orb at the top, is there? So I could throw out a Hail Mary and just do this and see how the orbs turn out afterwards. But yeah, that is a good way to kind of get around that, because ideally we want LR Janemba in slot 2 so you can get that build up, but the rotation did not really favour itself towards having TEQ Janemba in slot 1. So, but yeah, going back to TEQ JANEMBA and his design, the thing that I think is very weird about how they designed his starting form and then the transformation is if a unit came out now, like today even, obviously with higher stats and stuff like that, right? But if a unit came out today that had a chance to dodge if you picked up a rainbow orb. I mean, it's kind of similar to PyCon, but if a unit came out that had a chance to dodge if you picked up a rainbow orb, and then could get a little bit of a buff if you picked up a certain number of type orbs, and then later on, you could transform into a unit that had guard and could get damage reduction with the 2 orbs. So literally just flip his abilities, right? That unit would actually be really good. Like, having the chance to dodge is obviously not as reliable, but then once you transform, he's then flipped into having, like, guard and damage reduction. So that unit would actually be quite good, as long as the rest of his kit was obviously good as well. So that's why TEQ JANEMBA's design is so confusing to me, because it's almost like his 2 forms are the wrong way round. Because obviously, especially in events where you can't dodge, there's literally no reason to transform him whatsoever. Now, unfortunately, LR JANEMBA got sealed this turn, unlike the previous one. This did help out Turles, of course, but we couldn't get the key for him to super, so doesn't matter too much. But fortunately, LR JANEMBA only needs to attack in slot 2. He doesn't actually have to super attack. So, fortunately, doesn't really make a huge amount of difference if he gets sealed. He's still going to be guarding, he's still going to be doing his job defensively, but obviously he's getting that stack even though he's not supering, which is good. So we only need to get him to attack one more time. That's why additional is really good for JANEMBA. Obviously there's the meme, Truth gave his JANEMBA full dodge because he is a defensive unit, which, you know, it makes sense, right? If a unit is guard, even with his guard, like I said, if you haven't gotten the build up or something like that, super tough bosses, you can still get hit hard with a super and things like that, even in like ESBR, like turn 1. So dodging that attack and taking 0 damage is obviously good. So I can see giving him some dodge definitely being beneficial. But if you give him a decent amount of additional, as long as you can get on the first or second turn, if you get an additional attack in slot 2, and as we've already said, it doesn't have to be a super, that's another stack towards his passive being fully maxed out. Because of course the goal is that you get LR JANEMBA's passive fully maxed out, and then you can just put him in slot 1, and you don't have to worry about whether TEQ JANEMBA can pick up those orbs, because now he's in slot 2, he's a little bit more protected, because obviously when he super attacks he raises his defense. So, you know, as if physical JANEMBA can get that extra attack early on, then it means you start to look very, very good. So we can't get the damage reduction here. I am tempted to just go for it anyway. We don't have a defensive item that isn't a Princess Snake. Because I don't like to use items that heal when you don't actually need to heal. But if we get the 4 orbs, it gives everybody the defensive buff. He is at 250k before supering. I think a super attack would probably still do a pretty crazy amount of damage to him. But for the sake of the rest of the showcase, I do want to survive the turn and have our boy fully built up. So LR JANEMBA's at basically 400k defense. Remember, mine has 1 dupe. And he hasn't attacked for that 3rd time yet, so he's not fully built up. And he has 400k defense with the support, obviously from JANEMBA and from Garlic Jr., but that's looking pretty good for him. As long as we don't get supered in slot 1, TEQ JANEMBA's going to be perfectly fine here, and of course we did. So the item, definitely a good shout. How much is this going to do? 144. Actually, to be fair, he wouldn't have taken that much with the Princess Snake not active, so TEQ JANEMBA actually a little bit more impressive than I thought on that turn. Guard goes a long way. It's just the fact that his defense was only, what was it, 250k? And I know these later red zone bosses are hitting for, you know, quite a large amount. So, but we finally get our last attack off with JANEMBA. Pretty decent attack stat. I mean, the rotation is dripping in support, obviously, but pretty solid attack stat for a unit that people complain about not doing damage. Now, obviously, in this instance, we are now, that was 10 turns into the event, so I'm not trying to say he gets there really quickly or anything like that, but definitely a solid performance for a unit whose main role is defense. So he's the unit, as I say, I'm most looking forward to dupes for. I got some good LR pulls off of the Carnival banner, including my first dupe for the TEQ, LR, Goku and Gohan. But I have not pulled any dupes of JANEMBA. I pulled 1 copy from his first banner, and then I bought a copy when he came back to the shop, because whatever banner it was that he got added to the shop, I didn't pull any dupes from him off of that either. So I've literally only pulled 1 copy of him from all of the LR banners that I've summoned on. And obviously I would very much like to have that second dupe, so I can give him that extra additional, give him maybe a little bit of extra dodge. Because I feel like he doesn't really need to crit. Like, even though he can do impressive attack stats, you're not putting him on the team to do damage. So I feel like you really don't need to give him any crit at all. I might give him a crit skill orb or something maybe, so that he has some crit. Because the whole, like, you know, reason why I give all my units level 3 dodge is I'd rather my units all have a slight percentage to do everything, rather than obviously having a complete 0% chance to do something. So, oh, look at that. Turles with the additional was going to finish him off, and then he dodged. That's crazy. Alright, well, you can go in slot 1. So, hopefully, one of these 2 attacks in slot 1 is a super. But I guess we will see. Now, what we can do here is we can grab these 2 physical orbs for you. That gives him 4 key. And then, of course, TEQ JANEMBA comes to the rescue with the 4 type orbs to give everybody the extra 2 key. And then that puts our boy to 18 key. So, let's see. Can we get supered in slot 1 and counter it? That would be nice. But no, double digits, that's what we'd expect. And then 6.3 with just the links and the support from TEQ JANEMBA. Which, again, as a unit that only has 1 dupe and can basically not take damage in slot 1, I would say that that is pretty good. So, let's see what we can do here. If Garlic Jr. Oh, okay. Garlic Jr. is going to get locked in slot 1. Well, this run might be over. What shall I do here? I guess I should do this, right? And just fire off the active skill. Get rid of the attack in slot 1. And just kind of hope that was the super. Because I always forget that ice locks your units in place. And in this stage, I guess we would have survived that TEQ JANEMBA in slot 1 turn. But like, on this stage, you don't really want to be bringing a Senzu beam as your only item. Wow. 25 million damage crit. Hello? Oh man, if Garlic Jr. crits, we actually just kill him. 25 million damage crit. That is my Rainbow full level 10 Lynx cooler with big... I mean, look at that Lynx set he's got thanks to Garlic Jr. With the support as well. So that was that was a pretty hefty supernova right there. So the action in slot 1 should disappear. And then come on, Garlic Jr. Get that crit. 3 million attack stat, give or take, right? We're a couple off. Get that crit. Finish him off for the one time. 127. Don't super me. Okay. All right. Well, Cooler, Big Daddy Cooler has to step up and save the day. He doesn't really get a huge amount of power from Lynx from Golden Freezer. So there he is, 14 million attack stat with the support from Garlic Jr. And there you go. So physical LR JANEMBA, TEQ JANEMBA, very, very good rotation. Movie bosses, great rotation for ESBR. Obviously looking super good on Cooler's team. Maybe I will revisit this I'll use the rotation in another video. I might not highlight it specifically like this, but for me personally, I'm very much looking forward to using this rotation on this team when LR JANEMBA is actually rainbowed, because yeah, the combination of those 2 together is very good. And I can tell you from experience, from having spent ages doing that Movie Bosses ESBR no item run before Turles came out, with TEQ JANEMBA, as long as you can get those 2 rainbow orbs and the 4 type orbs, you can put him in slot 1, as long as he doesn't eat a super. And then that guard plus the damage reduction is actually more than enough for ESBR. Like I said, as long as it's not a super. So, there you go. That is the LR JANEMBA and TEQ JANEMBA on a 200% leader skill. Very, very good. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. We cleared the stage with the 1 Princess Snake and the support memory, so not too bad. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.